I welcome you here to Burlington's Old North End, where Channel 17 Town Meeting Television has been working since 1990 to help open the doors to local government. We work with community producers, local government officials, and folks across the political spectrum to bring programming that is interesting, inspiring, and helps people get off their butts to get active and involved within the community. Here, we have a studio where folks make live television, and we have equipment rooms where people borrow the equipment and staff that use the equipment to cover local meetings live and recorded. And we're really happy that we can show you a small glimpse of the more than 1,000 hours of programming that we produce here at Channel 17 Town Meeting Television every year. Thanks for watching.
Welcome everyone to the December 2016 meeting of the Chittenden Solid Waste District Board of Commissioners.
The first item is the agenda.
Thank everyone for coming out tonight and hearing all the budgets being presented.
Will a 100-foot ladder help us?
I will not be supporting the amendment. I feel for those of us who have not served on the Board of Finance.
So you're talking about saving energy for 1/4 the cost of buying energy.
I would like to express publicly my extreme displeasure.
There's a motion as an order if one has to be made.
I'll move to approve the first-class liquor license for the Burlington Beer Company.
Ben Franklin once said, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes."
As a community member, I feel really strongly about open space. There's very little in the downtown. And it's like they had a lot of meetings about it and talked about it, but it's about as clear as this other plan that we're here tonight.
Those people who didn't even want to give us a voice at all are going to be in charge of this? I don't think so.
That's city council meeting.
City council, that's right. We love that meeting.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Well, thank you for coming, and
thank you for coming.
This is an unusually short meeting. So.
And thank you for coming.
I'm not in favor of it at all. I'd like to see North Avenue back the way it was and let the bikers come down through right with the traffic.
But today we're very excited to have our grand opening for our Straight Talk Vermont Center.
To have communities like this one that are taking the initiative, using different types of funding well, putting that together, and then creating these housing opportunities for families that are going to live a better life.
Is it too late for me to make a difference?
The Fantasy Riders of Northwestern Vermont, represented by Giselle Bushy and Bridget Burleson.
Because you know what is happening in the news and the last debates, and it's educational and understanding who we are.
I get asked lots of questions. I can probably take it. Go for it.
What's your wife's name?
What's my wife's name? That's not embarrassing.
And who do you love?
What's my wife's name and who do I love?
And also, what's your crush in middle school?
Aha! Now I see what you're at.
That's embarrassing.
We're here from the Center of Media and Democracy in Burlington, Vermont, Channel 17, on the story, Fracked Gas and Eminent Domain, which is an ongoing story here.
I agree with what you said about the need for police when it comes to serious crimes or violent crimes.
As far as I'm concerned, refugees, immigrants are welcome in Vermont, and they should be throughout the rest of the U.S., and that's why I'm against Trump tonight.
Let me thank Tim and Vermont
pride for organizing this important event. Jane and I are very proud to be here with you tonight.
Let me introduce the candidates that will be joining us on the program tonight, and we will go from my left outward. To my direct left is Senator Patrick Leahy. He is the incumbent in the race.
I would like to start with the candidates, and if you could please, could you just introduce yourselves and just whatever you would like to share with us as an opening. And after this, we'll go into our first round of questions, which will start with Mr. Curtis Reed.
It looks like we have another call on the line. Hello, welcome to CCTV Channel 17.
Yes, thanks for taking my call. I stepped out for a minute and somebody else asked the question that I was going to ask about the EB5 fiasco.
That would be Ann. She just asked
I just asked, but you could ask.
She was reading your mind.
It's a different environment. You can't dictate this stuff, and I don't think you get that.
Yeah, I get it, Doug.
I don't think you do.
And I get that you don't want to do it. The skillful use of influence is paramount in leadership.
And I wanted to run for this legislative seat when it opened, partly because of the work I've done on city council. There's a number of issues that I've really felt like I want to contribute to the conversation and to positive change at the state level.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Diane Meyerhoff, host for tonight's special coverage of live Election Day results. Tonight, I'm joined by two astute followers of Vermont politics, Kevin Kelly and Morgan True of Vermont Digger. We are going to go out to Essex with Exit Voices from Essex.
Well, I have to say, I voted for the lesser of two evils. I have to say that. So. And that's it. I wish Bernie had ran, or I wished he had it. Then I wouldn't have any problems.
For me, one of the most important issues was gun control. I'm very much a Vermonter. I believe in everyone's rights, within reason, to own firearms.
In the Burlington, Carol Odie defeats Joanna Cole, the incumbent, with the bigger vote total than even Kurt Wright, who obviously is a sort of an institution. And we are now going to go to the Republican headquarters, the Sheraton in South Burlington, and Matt Kelly is with Deb Bucknam.
We both agreed that our campaign was a model for others.
A model for others. That's the word tonight. Deb Bucknam talking about her race for Attorney General here at the Republican election night headquarters. At the Sheraton Hotel, I'm Matt Kelly live. Now back to you at the Channel 17 studios.
So welcome to the land of exploding liberal Democratic heads. The New York
the end of Kingsman.
The New York Times has just changed its forecast to Trump winning.
My name is Dave Sunderland. I am honored to be the chairman of the Vermont Republican Party. I thank you all for being here, for making the trip. This is an exciting day for us, and we had a great meeting this morning, and look forward to a great speaker tonight.
We have too much at stake for young people particularly not to get involved in our politics and in our election. When we think of issues like climate change and student debt, those issues were going to be resolved on our backs unless we elected people like Bernie Sanders and that rock star senator from Illinois.
And in Vermont, we're so thrilled to live in a state like this because it's small, it's manageable, and we can all exchange our stories with one another and understand more and more about how we live our lives and how we build our communities.
Many feel we're an anti-business state. What we need to do is give some people some hope. We need to give the businesses here a break. We need to foster some growth, show the outside world that we're ready and willing and open.
I agree with you about our hunting culture. My father, from the time that I can remember, would disappear from our lives for 2 weeks in November because he went to deer camp.
Where do you see the future of mental health services in the state? How would you use your position to improve these services and the lives of those struggling with mental illness?
How many of us can claim that our own family's arrival in America, fleeing famine, religious oppression, dictatorship, or war, was not a motivation to come here?
I'm so pleased to be here this afternoon in the State House, in the cafeteria to be exact, which is usually bustling, but will be in about a month, with Andy McLean and Rebecca Ramos.
Now, even though you're in Vermont, it's fair enough to say you're talking to your homeland here, right?
I am talking to my homeland in Chicago. I'm from the north side in Highland Park.
Senator Sanders. Do you plan to formally endorse Clinton? At some point, do you plan to formally endorse Clinton?
Marcel and I often in the summertime, I get on the train in Waterbury and ride on it with our grandchildren.
So there's good news here in that the federal government, when we pass this legislation, is acknowledging the challenge.
Running the city well, growing the city inclusively, and eliminating our racial disparities, which many people are surprised to learn are some of the biggest in the entire country, are the three biggest challenges and opportunity I face and we face as a city.
The premise of this whole night is the fact that we're guessing you're here because you feel some sense of outrage and some sense of concern.
Did you know that each and every hour in the United States, someone commits a hate crime?
Bernie, can I get your autograph? Thank you, sir.
Stay right there, ma'am. He'll shake your hand, okay? All right, I don't want you I don't want you to fall.
Thank you, sir.
Uneven.
I work in an institution that some people generously describe as dysfunctional.
You know, this is my first trip to Vermont, and if I had known that I'd get that kind of reception, I would have come a lot earlier. Thank you so much.
I think poverty is the greatest problem in the world, and I think poverty is also the greatest injustice to humankind.
I have one person that focuses on internal political issues. There's a huge presidential election happening in the Republic of Korea next year. That's something they're tracking.
In the interventions, how to deal also with trauma. This is what I went there to tell the UN officials.
Excellent. They are monitoring, following the health of children who lived in Fukushima at the time of the disaster.
Na nikaona kama vile sio wote tuwakia patikana wanamke kama ngapi tabani na magonjwa. Tukakuja hapa kwa hospitali, mama akatutunzisha kweli, na nikasikia sasa mimi nakuwa hata hivi naniona mimi nakuwa mzuri.
Here in Burlington, we know this and we've acted on this. Our city is proud to have served as a refugee resettlement community for 35 years, and that commitment has made us a stronger community without doubt.
Que ha participado en este proceso de mandamiento, es importante para nosotros venir y conocer, o sea, la vicealcaldesa, mi persona, y después ver qué ha pasado en estos 30 años con el acompañamiento, el apoyo del pueblo de Burlington hacia nuestro pueblo de la costa caribe, especialmente del municipio de Puerto Cabeza.
These are new organizations. They are very important. And before I begin, I'd like to start off from the Sudan Development Foundation and the Sudanese Foundation of Vermont.
Another important factor to bear in mind, especially for the situation in children, is that some 34,000 people died in Terezin, large majority of them elderly.
But we really want to take a finer look at how we can concentrate enforcement and also non-enforcement efforts to generate a better public health outcome.
The most interesting models to me look at what it would be like if people ate a healthy amount of meat.
In an election season marked with irrational grotesqueries, Donald Trump leading the way with his outrageous remarks about immigrants, women, and to his eye, unattractive human beings.
I don't think the laws against domestic violence or selling drugs I don't see these as some kind of infringement on liberty.
The problem is facing us right now, and what that means is that we've got to stop burning fossil fuels.
How do you feel about the Burlington Mall the way it is?
It's all right. Not, I don't think, a major attraction, but it's there.
I am so glad to be here, and I appreciate all the staff here helping us out. I wanted to get the word out. This has been our 6th year as the Munson-Warnkin family running the Vermont City Marathon for Outright Vermont.
So we try to make sure that the home that they're going to is a home that's stable, safe.
How do we bring up food access at these affordable housing sites?
There's probably a lot of truth in the fact that if there's predictability in what can be developed and what it's going to look like, people will know in advance and will have a chance and won't be as unsure about what is coming forward.
A concern that form-based code will limit opportunities for public input during those processes. How comfortable are you with that aspect of form-based code we're talking about?
We want to be sure that budget is not just something decided by 5 people, but it's a collective community conversation.
What about your thoughts as a citizen?
My thoughts as a citizen, you mean how do they factor into all this? Well, I walk into the Senate with a set of particular views about how I think the world should look.
My teacher, Sharon Star, flower and candy too. Thanks very much.
What's your personal experience being in this class, learning about public speaking?
Okay. Let's get into our topic about terminology. You and I both have autism, but the words people use divide us from each other.
You know, and that's a very good point, Mark. And that is, you know, still an issue in our world.
How's the rising sun?
Welcome to the Woodchuck Report.
I'm going to tell you who I'm going to place my personal vote for.
Okay, great.
It's going to be the Scott Diamondstone ticket.
Can you reassure residents of that data collection is going to be meaningful, and for those who have strong concerns and would like to voice those?
You're on the air, caller. What's your first name?
Sue.
All right, Sue, what's up?
How about Irving's?
Irving, very good, very good. Caller, what's the answer to that?
Mrs. Holcomb.
You got it.
You're on live at 525. Welcome to the show. Who's this?
Good evening, Neil. It's Steve from the New North End in Burlington.
Hey, Steve.
I have a question dealing with the wind tower on the lake.
Hi, yes. This is Amy, and I'm calling from Burlington. And I just had a question. As a substitute teacher...
Oh, looks like we have a call on line 1. Hi.
Hi. I'm watching your show, and I tried getting on YouTube, and I couldn't make it work.
You clearly
But
just
you
want
really
to
have no clue
argue,
what
so
you're
I'm
talking
going
about.
to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I heard your comments, and if you want to know, you'd have to, you know, stop talking long enough for me to answer.
Good evening. I just want to say it's too bad that New North End residents had to take the extreme measure of going around getting petitions.
We're just about out of time, and thank you for joining us on Commerce Connection, live at 525, Channel 17, public access at its finest.